Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Tonight on the Ospreys Diary, we take a look back at what we've missed over the autumn international break. We take a look at the development game, who is Jan Cornelius, and the AGM. We also then go on a completely different tangent about selfies of players. I talk about my Lawrence Delalio story. And finally, we predict our squad ahead of the squad's trip to Parma to play Zebre. If you like what you hear, give us a like, rate, give us a comment, subscribe on YouTube, and enjoy the pod.
This is the Ospreys Diary.
Hello and welcome back to the Ospreys Diary podcast, your Ospreys podcast for all the news and goings on in the world of Australia. Eagle-eyed viewers on the YouTube will notice that I am not joined by Robbie or by Yestin tonight. Yestin's come down with a lurgy, probably from being in Pontypridd too much. I don't blame him. And Robbie is jettisoned onto another emergency pod, but we'll forgive him this week. I am instead joined by the lovely Sam from the Black Feather, the Ospreys Rugby Fancast. Sam, how are we?
I'm good, thank you. Lovely. How are you? I think I've got the allergy, but I've not been to Pontypridd.
No.
But I'm on the tail end of it now. I don't normally sound this croaky
No.
to anybody who normally watches the Black Feather. But, I thought I'd do you a solid and come and help you out.
No, Sam's done me a massive favour after the boys have, quite frankly, dropped me in it. But look, I won't hold that against them. So, Sam, obviously you are over at the Black Feather with Rod and Mark. You're doing some great stuff. I think I've met Rod and I've met you. I haven't met Mark.
Mark is up mid. Funny enough, sorry, I am just going to give my dog a treat because otherwise she's going to want to join in the pod.
That's absolutely fine.
She equates office time with treat time. To be fair, she's not that sensible, so we won't get her involved. Mark is mid Wales. We were talking about it on pod last night. Actually.
It's okay. Most Ospreys fans are from Gwent, as we discussed on Rap on Monday. There's more Ospreys fans in Gwent than there is
than anywhere else. So Mark was hoping to come down at some point before the autumn internationals, but he never quite made it. So he's hoping to come down to some stuff in the new year. We've got Rod then, who's my Stegway, and if I kind of lean my head that way out of the window, then I can see the stadium to the right of me.
The dream.
So we're not as technical as you guys. Well, the other two are probably as technical as you guys. I kind of know my way around a bit, but I'm not quite nosy enough to be a rugby nose. But
no one's ever called me technical. I can tell you that.
I
am not the
best,
technical one of this podcast. if as I've always said, if you're coming to this podcast for analysis and stats, you've come to the wrong place.
Oh, listen, we did a Disney 15 on our pod last night. So that is kind of the level we were at yesterday, because we just thought, right, okay, we can't talk about Welsh Rugby Union anymore. This is what we're going to do. So we did a cartoon and a Disney 15.
I did see that, and it's fantastic, to be fair. Right. News-wise, we are pretty thin on the ground. Obviously, last week you would have heard we interviewed Morgan Morris. Absolutely lovely man.
Rod's man crush.
He's my man crush, and I tell him
Rod's man crush. Rod has got a list of players that he's got a man crush on, and Morgan's very much high up there. So I'm like on Twitter now, Morgan, please make Rod's dream come true. Come and visit us on the pod.
He's a lovely man. So we interviewed Morgan Morris. We didn't really cover the development game. So obviously we had the development game against the Dragons down at St Helens. The squad was very much a mixture of young whippersnappers and some guys returning to form. So it was Yeston Hopkins, Harry Houston, Connor Moyes, Tom Florence, Luke Morgan, Luke Scully, Scott Whitlock, Stephen Thomas, Ethan Lewis, Matthew Yower, Scott, Liam Edwards, James Fender, Will Greatbanks, Dan Jermaine, Will Griff, Lewis Lloyd, Cameron Jones, Reese Henry, Evan Hill, Lewis Jones, Kyle Harris, Ben Bennell, Ian Cornelius, Ryan Wilkins, and Corey Lewis Jenkins. Did you go down at all, Sam, to St Helens?
I didn't. I was actually out that that evening, so wasn't able to go down. I've been a busy girl the last couple of weeks. This is probably why this voice is like this. I was out 3 nights last week. I didn't go down. I had friends who went down and they were impressed with some of the younger players that were there then, shall we say.
Hmm,
Um, I know that the score didn't go in our favour,
no.
but I do like these development teams playing. I think it's a
Yeah.
really good opportunity for some of the youngsters and some of the returning players to get out there, get some time under their belt. And I think it is a really, really good idea what they've tried to do with doing this sort of autumn international break from usual URC gameplay. Did you manage to get down?
No, I was going to travel down from London, but I ended up playing myself.
I
That
did
uh,
see.
so yeah, I'm a bit battered and bruised after that, but sort of caught up with some guys from the club. Um, so yeah, you said scoreline was about 38-17, right, but we lost both our hookers prior to kickoff. So
Mm,
Ethan Lewis and Lewis Lloyd went down, so we had to get two ringers in. I think one was a Swansea hooker, and the other, I can't remember the other one off the top of my head, and my apologies. And then we also lost both our centres quite early on. So we lost Connor Moyes and Tom Florence to injury.
yeah,
No updates so far on them. Connor Moyes was tearing it up for Aberavon in the SRC.
yeah,
Florence was doing that same for Bridgend, but then also it was performing well in that senior squad. So tough. Looks like Lewis Lloyd has got over his injury problems. He's in the training photos for
that's good.
today. But yeah, great to see. And ultimately, what we asked of the Super Rugby Camry was that um, bridge between semi-professionalism and professionalism. So seeing the
Yeah,
likes of Scott Whitlock from Aberavon, um, Matt Yoris Scott, obviously Dan Jermaine, Kyle Harris, the number eight for I think he's Bonamine boy. Ben
yeah,
Bennell, obviously, was at other books at Cardiff, at Jersey, now down in Bridgend. Ryan Wilkins tearing it up for Bridgend. Corey Lewis Jenkins, he's got more clubs than Tiger Woods. So brilliant, and obviously Evan Hill as well. I think he's fantastic. He's been tearing up for the age grade. And then but obviously the big headlines coming into this game were the three returnees from long-term injury. So Reese Henry got on,
yeah,
apparently showed his worth, took the Dragons to sword a bit. James Fender was back. He's looking good. Apparently, he came through unscathed, as well as Will Griff as well, who captained the side. And I think people forget how much rugby Will Griff has played, but then also
yeah,
missed as well. Like he's missed so much rugby.
yeah. And we, us guys on our pod last night, um, we're talking about very much how we miss kind of the A structure for the
Mm.
international teams now,
Yeah,
and those kind of things, because Fender was one of the ones that we said would possibly suit an A structure, to bring him through, and develop him. Um, and I think where we are with Welsh rugby at the minute is we're very much having to develop and bring homegrown talent to the fore from the sort of semi-professional teams below. I don't know about you, but I can, remember last year when we were on our knees with
yeah,
injuries, and we had no choice but to bring those players through.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely. And the more we can do to supplement the development of these youngsters and keep feeding the team that we love at the end of the day.
Yeah,
The other sort of news coming out was Jan Cornelius, obviously. So those what we saw is he's born in New Zealand, half Welsh and half Maori. Spent his childhood in Swansea. He was at Pontardawe
honest.
School, um,
Yeah,
but then was in Australia. He's been in Australia, so he's 6'2", 19 years old. Was at Bond University, coached by Rico Gia, former New Zealand legend. He's been on the Elite Seven circuit out there. From the video they did,
highlights real.
yeah, absolutely loves the Ospreys,
Mm.
and he's Welsh through and through as well. And
That's what you want, though.
oh, absolutely.
That's what you
And
want.
I was thinking actually, there's a lot of evidence to say that regional rugby has failed, right?
Mm.
And then there's no doubt about that. But when you see the youngsters of today coming through, and this is not a slight on the club system. No one says, "Oh, I grew up supporting Swansea" or "I grew up supporting Pontypool."
Not
It's,
anymore.
you see and saying, "I grew up sitting in the East Stand watching Jerry Collins and
Yeah,
Steve Tandy era team." Morgan Morse was a East Stand season ticket holder. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Cornelius, despite being all the way in New Zealand, is a massive Ospreys fan, and that's what you want.
yeah. And this is my problem with the Welsh Rugby Union strategy and this whole idea of a golden share and deciding what players go where. Um, Obviously, Mark and myself are like, I'm 47, Mark is 50. So we did grow up supporting Swansea. Regions weren't there when we were younger, but we made the transfer over then to the Ospreys. Rod, very much, you know, my stake Bridgend way could have easily gone either way, really. Rod's an Ospreys fan because he fell in love with watching Shane Williams play, you
Yeah,
know. So he's the type of kid who was 8 when the regions were created. Seeing that player, seeing Shane Williams play is the reason why he's come to Ospreys, the
yeah,
reason why he's got a season ticket. And I think there's a whole raft of reasons why people fall in love with a club, and not necessarily, like you say, location.
mm,
It's one of those things. Yeah, you can be brought up. I My nephew played for Bonamine when he was younger. My brother coached for Bonamine. If you were to ask me who my team was below Ospreys, then I would probably say
yeah.
Bonamine before Swansea. Do you know what I mean? And there's a whole raft of reasons why people fall in love with a player and a club and create that bond. So it's really nice to hear that he's got that connection with the Ospreys, because let's face it, he's younger than the region, really.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
absolutely.
And he's got that relationship there. He wants to play for that club. And again, that's another problem that I've got with the golden share thing, is that some players will want to be one club players. They'll want to play for a region. They're not going to want to be swapped around at the behest of the union. Um, but I did like his highlight reel. We did say, a highlight reel is that it's a highlight reel. It's going to
Mm,
show you the best of him. But I don't think it's one of those where you've seen the best bits on the reel, if you know
yeah,
what I mean. It's not all going to be trailer, and that's the best part of the film. I think he's got a lot to show, and a lot that he can bring.
I think I watched that, and you just see potential there. And I watched his try for Swansea against RGC on Saturday, and you take that and you're like, he's 6'2" at 19. He's heavy set. He's 6'2", but he looks short. He's got that low center of gravity. He's got big legs,
Yeah.
big ass. And if you're Mark Jones, you're sort of rubbing your hands together in excitement, like
Mm.
you to nurture this development. We all talk about Morgan Morse or Vender. Backs is probably where we're weakest in terms of development. Probably count one hand the number of backs we sort of produce. Really, if you look at the Welsh squad
Yeah.
now, so having someone like that is very good. So
Yeah.
Moving on, obviously the AGM happened post game on Sunday. So
Mm.
there's a review into Gatland in the autumn, blah blah blah. The big thing is, or the big two things, the Anglo-Welsh League is off the table. Not that it was ever really
Never
on.
going to be on.
No, it wasn't. And look, as someone who works in English rugby, they right now are not in the position where they want us, let alone need us. Some clubs aren't, I should say.
Yeah,
The the WRU want to take a stake within the regions. So the plan from the WRU end is they want to phase up the money that goes within the region. So it'll go to 5 million, 6 million, 6.5 million, right? Which is where they say roughly Glasgow won the league at. It's about 6.5 million. It's probably just under what Edinburgh spend. Technically, what Benetton's net spend is about £6.5 million on wages. What the WRU want from that then is a stake within the regions. Now, what that stake looks like, we don't know. But and to my understanding, this is nowhere near being finalised. This stake in the regions. You've got to think clubs are priced differently.
yeah. Different
Ospreys,
economic areas.
yeah, Ospreys are, if you're going off history, the most successful, but can argue have zero assets. Dragons are the least successful, but they're the only ones who outright own their own
The
stadium.
ground. Yeah,
So, you can't place a 20% stake on each club because 20% of the Ospreys is different to that of the Scarlets.
20% of nothing.
Yeah, exactly. So it wouldn't be a monetary share. It would likely be a version of that golden share that Gatland talked about. You guys last night expressed your your distaste of this. I think most people do. I think, from my point of view, there is nothing wrong with your national coach having heavy input in what your Wales players are doing, right? I think it shows
Agreed.
good collaboration from a union and club point of view. We haven't had that for 15 years, right? We haven't had that really since probably about, 2008, because it then became all about Team Wales.
Yeah, I think you're right. There's no problem with him having input. I haven't got a problem with that because equally everybody can benefit from nutrition, doctors, fitness regime. Everybody's on a standard level playing field, and it will potentially take some of the monetary pressure away from the regions as well if you've got a shared resource. My, as I said, my distaste for it then is being able to move people around,
Yeah.
decide how much they're paying, decide how many minutes they're playing, etc., and everything else. I think for me that is a control too far.
Yeah.
I don't know how you feel about
I fully agree. I think that, and again, it's if you were a Osprey second rows, come up through the academy, and there's an abundance of second rows in front of you. You supported the Ospreys all your life. You're from Treborth. All you've done is you play for Morriston. You in the academy and you play for, and then all of a sudden the WA turns and said, "Look, you're a player of national interest. We're going to pick you for Wales within 2-3
yeah,
years, but we want you to go play for the Dragons in Newport and
where's your club loyalty?
play for Pontypool in the SRC." That's not fair on a person.
Mm.
And again, we all want Wales to be successful, right? No one here is wanting Wales to fail. What we also want is a marriage of love between club and country,
Yeah,
and
um,
I don't see this, what the WA are proposing with the coaching staff that are in place currently. I can't see that being the case.
emphasis is being placed on the international game, and
Yeah.
you know as well as I do, if the international team is going well, it papers over the cracks of everything else. We are very much now reaping the seeds of what we started to sow back in 2003. So
Yeah.
anybody could see that this was going to come. We didn't make hay while the sun was shining. We didn't do any forward planning. We didn't do any forward thinking. We didn't have a succession plan for when these players were going to retire, or the players who have now said they don't want to play for Wales under Gatland. So we spoke on pod last night, Mark, and I can remember the 80s, the late
Yeah.
90s, going into the 2000s. This feels very different to us as Welsh rugby fans. This feels that this is going to have repercussions for far longer than it felt sort of around the 2000s, 1999 kind of thing. And I've known the highs as a fan. I was lucky in 2005. I went to every single game, saw us win the Grand Slam. I've also seen the lows of us being beaten 90 odd by
Yeah.
South Africa. I've seen that. I watched that, Um, and this feels different. This feels more heartbreaking at this point in time because we could have potentially prevented some of what's happening now. I wouldn't say that we wouldn't have gone to a dry spell, but we could have foresaw some of this. And I think the time has now come for Welsh Rugby to be a fully commercial business interest. We always seem to be relying on the heydays of the 70s and the golden era of Welsh rugby.
What I keep
We
saying.
can't keep going back to that. We're not that anymore.
No.
We can't let the smaller clubs, the tail wags the dog with the Welsh Rugby Union sometimes, and we need to get away from that. And that's ultimately been our undoing. And this is why we're where we are now. This is why we only had 65,000 people in that stadium on Saturday rather than full capacity. This is why they were giving tickets away to NHS workers. This is why fans were selling their tickets for 20 quid on StubHub. The Welsh Rugby Union's got to wake up and smell the coffee now. And that we very firmly are where we are right now. We can't do a lot to change it, but we can build a foundation so that when we're heading into that 27 World Cup, we're not looking like we are now.
Absolutely. And yeah, couldn't have said it better. I've said for years and years and years about the nostalgia factor, and that's still fueled in the media. You look at the BBC coverage with Six Nations, and it's, I love Jiffy, right? Love the man.
Yeah.
But at what point do you stop wheeling him out for rugby analysis because his heyday was
25, 30 years ago.
I have my issues with Sam Warburton, right, a player. And a fantastic pundit because he's recently retired. He knows the game. You look at the pundits who are in now, the young ones, and you just think, God, they're so much better than getting in a mark.
That's their reality, isn't it?
Then look, as a young man who doesn't remember 05, right? I'm sure that era of player. Your Martin Johnsons, all this Keith Woods are brilliant, right? But what value are they adding today's game? And there's only a select few, I think, do that. As much as he pisses me off, Austin Healey, I think, is a fantastic pundit. Ben Kay, I think, is brilliant. But outside of that, there's not many.
I've actually got a... Oh, God, this is so bad. We went up to Gloucester to watch Ospreys. And I had
last season?
Last season.
Yeah, I went as well.
I had my picture taken with Martin Bayfield. Now, not because he's Martin Bayfield, but because he was
Hagrid, yeah.
Right? And I was having a selfie, and this is awful. Austin Healey and Tom Shanklin were there, and Austin Healey was like, "Do you want a selfie with us?" And I was like, "No." And I just walked away because I was just like, I'm of that age where I'm like, Austin, no, no, I will literally be lynched if I have a selfie with you on my Instagram. But I think I am quite enjoying the TNT coverage. Big
I
shout
am as well.
to Mr. Sam. He as a present he's given me TNT and the URC channels because he's a good Scottish lad. Do you know what I mean? He's but I'm really enjoying because I'm liking what they're doing before the game as well around the law changes when they're getting the kids
Yeah,
on
it's good. I
and
like
show.
that. So it's
I
that
like
old Scrum 5 when they used to get the old demonstration.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot, and
But
it's
instead
bringing
of like Taft's it's, some posh
yeah.
university instead.
It's it's only here really that it's a working class sport because where John is from in England in Aberdeen, then it was a grammar school thing. It was a posh thing.
Hey, I work in
Um,
Twickenham.
it,
You don't need to.
corn
You
sandwich
don't
brigade.
need to remind me.
Um, and literally it is so different down here. And that's one of the things that I oh God, that worries me with I think what Lance is trying to do is fantastic, but I also worry that he's of a very different economic impression of what Swansea is in
Um,
comparison to Gloucester. But I don't have the view of English Prem that perhaps
I
you've got.
think I, from who we had in before, right, in Nick Garcia to who we have now, Lance. I think Lance has a much better a grip of
He's
Welsh
commercially
rugby.
sound.
He's commercially sound. He's also very good at what he does. Like he
Yeah,
took Gloucester from where they were, and Gloucester's a different type of economic. Gloucester is Gloucester itself is quite working class, right?
yeah,
Cheltenham's not, and you look at some of the places around it, and it's not. Um, where I think Lance has rubbed some people the wrong way and things like that. What I appreciate from Lance is, his stepdad was Welsh and took him to the banks to watch Welsh rugby, right? You know, I, that that means something, right? And you can see the way
yeah,
he talks about St. Helens, right? He really understands, why we're going to St.
passion.
Helens type thing, and that leads me on to sort of the last piece of news, really, which is about St. Helens. So St. Helens is set to be
Yeah.
ready for November 2025.
Mm,
This is to accommodate Swansea Cricket Club to play their final season. Um,
yeah.
there had been rumours that there had been some resistance from the cricket club, so to
Mm,
say. I, that these are just rumours. No one has confirmed anything.
I did similar, but
Yeah,
my hark back to that really is Glamorgan doesn't play there anymore.
no,
Glory days of Glamorgan are gone. And they're you've got to let go sometimes, haven't you? So yeah, you've got it's a historic ground for cricket in certain respects, but then again, like you say, you can't have back to the glory days. You've got to move forward. You've got to be looking forward, not looking in the
no.
rearview mirror.
Absolutely, and look, I come back to things like the cricketers, right? The pub. If they really wanted to save it, they would have.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Um, do you know what? It's so bad. I did not know that was student flats now.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah, it's student flats. Because for me as a uni student, um, I didn't go to Swansea Uni. I went to the old Swansea Institute of Higher Education. I
Mhm.
could have gone to the uni, but my friends were going to the institute. But I did have friends in Swansea Uni, so I always went to their freshers evening, and I had many a happy night in the cricketers on a
Many people have. Yeah.
freshers week. Do you know what I mean?
All right. Well, I lived in Bryn Mill for 2 years.
Oh God,
When I obviously played for Swansea Uni, not nowhere near the first team, but used to go watch every Wednesday. So you walk past.
yeah,
So yeah, so November 2025, they're looking to be ready for. So some things have changed since we published the first drawings. So they're looking at 3 stands. Which, to be fair, a lot of people said anyway. So you're looking maybe a bit similar to some like Saracen Stadium.
yeah. I liked Surrey
Um,
Stadium when I went up there last year.
yeah. So things like that. Yeah. So hopefully we'll hear more in due course. But it's nice to hear some stuff about it. And also, we are waiting on the. This is where we are at, right? We're waiting on the FA Cup draw because if Swans are drawn at home, we have to play our Newcastle game at the Brewery Field
Yeah,
and vice versa. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So
yeah.
that's the new. Although I would like to play Newcastle at the Brewery Field. That'll be a cracking.
I think that would be a proper little cauldron of atmosphere. And it's a happy hunting ground for us.
Absolutely,
Uh,
and that's what you want.
and I got no problem as a fan travelling up. You know, if there's enough support, then the supporters club will pop a bus on. With regards to that,
Yeah,
um, I'm what my old man would call a champagne rugby fan. My father would be horrified by me because obviously I got the Nest season ticket. Um, so we're really like me and my I say my guys. There's a group of sort of like 8 or 10 of us. We've
mm,
got our Nest season tickets, and none of us renewed this year with the food option because it was just the cost was laughable. Worked out
yeah,
like 39 quid for one meal. So we kept our Nest because we liked our padded seats and our lounge before and after. We're really interested to see what the proposition is for us now when we go to St Helens, what kind of levels available to us. But as I say, my old man had a season ticket for Swansea from sort of like the 60s onwards, and the toilet block with the beachside
yeah.
stand. What they used to do was they used to pass their season ticket out the window of the toilet block and get in that way.
Get it scanned, but
Um,
yeah, get it back in.
yeah,
Yeah,
because you totally could. But I'm very much looking forward to the move to St Helens, which always surprises people considering I'm so close to the stadium. But I
yeah.
prefer that more intimate kind of hothouse venue.
I think any rugby fan. I remember watching Ospreys Cheetahs in Neath once, and it was just I hate the Knoll. Like I absolutely have hatred of that stadium, right? Not because of I don't like Neath, right? I just don't like the stadium, right?
I'm not a
Uh,
fan.
but it's just better, and I love St Helens, right? Because I watch the uni there every Wednesday, and I know
Mm.
the atmosphere. I remember Cardiff Met came down, and they're really good, and we were just shouting across, you shouting across to them on the bank while we were sat in the stands. I was at the Alum Jones Barbars game, and being on the bank there,
Yeah, me too.
yeah, and I blagged my way into hospitality for that. Watching Jiffy get more and more pissed on red wine.
Oh, do you know
Um,
what? We know the good, the bad, the rugby. We went up to watch them when they did their first live show up in the depot in
oh
Cardiff.
yeah, in Cardiff, yeah,
He got absolutely smashed,
yeah,
right?
he does love a vino.
Absolutely hilarious. And some of the stories that he was telling were not safe for work in any way, shape, or form. And we were all just like laughing. Um, really, really great after dinner speaker type vibe. But I do love a little bit of free hospitality. I'm not gonna
Oh,
lie.
absolutely. Your Gloucester story reminded me. So as is well documented, I'm a grifter. Right? I'll take any free stash, any free tickets, right? Um, and I'm lucky enough to have a friend who plays for Gloucester and played that day for Gloucester. So he got us tickets. So he got myself, my best mate James, and I had a spare one. So I invited Hugh from the Scarlet's Pod, and we went up and we met Robbie there as well. Met a load of lovely listeners and watched the pod. And if you go back and watch the videos, you see where the Ospreys come in, and obviously we're all there shouting Ospreys, Ospreys. Just before that, what you don't see is we're joined by Carwyn from the Welsh pod and the Cardiff pod. He's chatting to us, and then Lawrence Delalio walks around the corner to the media centre, and all you hear is in perfect unison some Gloucester accents, some Welsh accents say "fuck off, Lawrence."
Do you know what though, right? He was so nice to me
Yeah,
the
a
start
lovely
of this
man. Yeah.
game. Um, and literally, I had a happy little self. Like the guys always take the pee out of me because I have no shame in
Oh,
asking
don't.
help me at all
I've got
whatsoever.
a story to tell you off air about my
Um,
selfie exploits.
Literally, I got no shame,
Yeah.
and that was the day that. And I have to say, um, there are a couple of ex-Osprey players who I've spoken to in the past who've been really rude.
Oh yeah,
when
absolutely.
they've been on media duty, they've been up in the nest, they've been talking, and they've been really like dismissive. And I'm not one of these who's like, I pay you wages, but it was pretty much I pay you wages and you're being a dickhead to me.
Yeah,
But I have to tell you, who was absolutely just a gorgeous man, and I don't mean that in a pervy, I'm 47, he's like 30 odd way. George North is so lovely,
he is a lovely man.
absolutely lovely. And I'm like, you've met me in real life. I'm 5'2". I'm a short house, you know. Um, and he even was like that. Do you want to stand on the steps so you're a bit taller? And he proper like had a bit of banter with me, and it was so
Yeah,
nice. I had a lovely picture with him, lovely picture with Lawrence Delalio. And Steve Borthwick was really nice. I asked him for a selfie, and he went, "Do you mind if we go in and have it inside?" He said, "Because I'm meant to be working for the TV punditry. Then so we'll have one inside." And he was so nice. And I tell you the other nice person who I met, and we're going back now, 1999, Junior World Cup in Bridgend. Clive Woodward, what a nice man.
Oof, oof.
He was lash to me and my dad. My dad had had his voice box taken out. He had terminal cancer. That was the year that he died. And he had one of those. My dad had one of those Dalek voice machine things.
Yeah,
And do you know what? He spent such a lot of time talking to my dad and being so nice. So I can only really speak as I find, but he was really lovely. Um, as I say, some people I've met have been total dickheads, but you know, that's all walks of life, not just rugby players, really, is it? You know, we all know people off here who are dickheads.
oh, absolutely. That day, so we sat in the friends and family section. So I sat next to Jamal's girlfriend. To the
Yeah,
left of us were all the injured Ospreys players. So it was like Dewi, Jack, Will Griff, Rhys Davis, Liam Edwards, and they were good value, like shouting, ref and all that. They were properly rugby fans.
they were brilliant at the
Yeah,
Edinburgh game
yeah.
where
Um,
we were chanting and they were doing he's big, he's tall, he's epic at them all, Adam B,
yeah, they
Adam
love
B.
it.
And then
Um,
they were taking the piss out of Duan as well, which I thought was just amazing. They were like, Duan.
but what was with so obviously we were two Ospreys fans and a Scarlets fan in the Gloucester Friends and Family section. And sat in front of me was Adrian Varney and whatever Adam Hastings' dad was.
Yeah.
And Adam Hastings like shanked a kick or something. I said, "Away!" And then his dad turned around and I went, "I like you, bud." And he was not happy
Clapped
with
on
me
the
for
end
that
is
way.
so Welsh, isn't it?
And then the weirdest part of that night was Mike Teague buying us drinks in his
Happy
pub.
days.
So obviously we went and met Jamal. So it was me, Robbie, and my mate who was sort of drinking with like Lewis Ludlow, the Afolabi for Sogbon, the young Gloucester prop. Mike T comes over there and is like, lads, can I get you some drinks? And I was like, oh, no, Mike, we gotta
Absolutely,
go,
yeah.
mate. We were going
Superstar.
back to car. If my son wasn't being born like a couple of days later, I would have stayed, but I
Oh,
had to
your
get back.
baby's so
I had to
cute.
get back to Cardiff. Um, so, but yeah, they were good. I obviously work for the same establishment as Adam Jones, but I was like a child the other day. We worked the Prem Cup game against Ealing Trailfinders, and at the end we're sort of drinking up in the box because it was empty that game, so we're drinking in there. And Adam Jones was coming across the pitch, so I sort of sprinted down the stairs like a child.
Like,
In Lee Halfpenny, I was like, people don't get it in England, right? We don't get it with Lee Halfpenny. It's like I keep saying to people in the office, I had posters of him on my wall. Like that's how big he was. He was a celeb then.
yeah.
Like he was, every girl wanted him and every boy wanted to be him. And
Oh, he's just such a nice boy.
I had his head guard that he had on the 2013 Lions tour, and his
Did
own
you?
broken. And I bought it 2014. So yeah,
It's
he's
amazing, though. These are the rugby stories that knit us together as a
oh,
community.
absolutely, and
Um, you know, I don't know if you heard on the pod, but the night that we were playing in Bridgend and we knew that we were facing Gloucester the week after,
yeah,
we knew it was going to be a Friday night. And as we were leaving Bridgend, Dewi, Jack, and everybody was walking out. And my manager in work, I work for an English company, an English law company, and my manager's a Northampton Saints fan. She got season tickets for her and her
Yeah.
kids, previously a Wasps fan. And I was like, I got to ask for the Friday off. It's probably going to be like, we've got to give a month's notice if you want a day off. And I was like, what am I going to do? I need to get this. I need to get this Friday off. I'm not going to be able to travel from Swansea up to Gloucester. And Debbie did me a voice note for my manager,
He's
and he went,
fantastic.
"Oh, Jade, love, she's not coming in. She needs the day off, right?" And I was like, "Jade, that's Derry Lake. He's yeah." And she went, "I know he's the Welsh captain. I'm gonna have to let you have it off now because he's asked, haven't he?" And he always, every time he sees me now, he's like, "You're the girl I got the day off for, and you." And I'm like, "Yeah, I owe you a drink for that one, mate. You know." Um, but
Fantastic.
this is the bond that you build with a club and you build with players. It is. This is why I love being a rugby fan above and beyond any other
Oh
sport that
yeah.
I watch. This is why. This
So
is absolutely why.
I think we could talk about that all night, but I think we should move on because otherwise we'll
Yeah.
never ever get through Ospreys versus Zebra, well, Zebra versus Ospreys. So we travel over to Parma in northern Italy for a 7:30 kickoff against Zebre Parma live on Premier Sports and S4C. But before we talk about that, if you're enjoying the podcast, please be sure to give us a rate on whatever podcast provider you use. If you're on YouTube, drop a subscribe. We've just reached 1,000 subscribers, so Lee can finally pay me. He won't pay me.
Pay him, Lee. Don't be mean.
Yeah. So drop us a follow, drop us a subscribe on YouTube. So we travelled to Parma. We last time out we played Zebra. We won 34-31. Justin Tipurick's 200th game, which was great. We scored some lovely tries that day. Bit of a banana skin game for us. We never ever
I
performed
was
well
literally
in
going to
this.
say the
We
same.
never ever play well against Zebra.
We said the same on last night's pod, in that looking at it statistically, it should be our win for the taking. But
Mm.
we said it's very much a banana skin. And the conclusion that we came to really was that we need to hit this next block and we need to hit it hard with a win straight out of the gate. And we were wondering what kind of squad we're looking at taking out, what the team would be, to get some kind of idea of where we are, who's returning, who's good
Well,
to go.
I do have inside information on that, but I can't divulge. Um,
Obviously not.
it is a stronger squad than I think people are expecting. So generally we do take a B team. I think I remember the last time we went over to Zebra, we had like Jack Regan starting, Tian Thomas Wheeler, Deeb was very young at that time. So yeah, we will take over a rotated squad. I can tell you that Jack, Gareth, and Dewi will not be involved because of
Yeah,
the minutes they played in Wales, and quite frankly, so they shouldn't be.
they need a rest,
They
man.
need a rest, and we've got a big European block coming up. Uh, from that, so yeah, squad wise, anyone you're hoping to see?
Oh, we were Rod has lost some cool points for me, if I'm being honest. Because Rod's got an Excel spreadsheet with everyone on. So we're
Yeah,
trying to work out who was available for us to select, really.
yep.
And from there, we were hoping to see Fender come back, um, and be part of the squad. We were also wondering what Connorby's status was with his injury and his contract. Got any inside skinny on that?
As far as I'm aware, Combi are still rehabbing at the club, and he's not left in any capacity that I've seen. I think his injury is a lot more serious than
We thought.
we thought. He didn't. I mean, we were sat next to each other at the game. It happened, so It didn't look great. So let's go through what we think the squad's going to be.
Go for it.
Right. So you name me your squad, and I'll say if I agree.
Oh, Jesus Christ. You haven't asked me to prepare for this now. Can I just give you my
No,
Disney
I never
15?
ask people to prepare. Right. And I quite frankly, after Morgan Morris sprung some questions on me, I don't trust anyone anymore.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Don't do this to me now.
Give me a loose head.
Excuse my French. Why have you done this to me now? My mind's gone blank.
I'm a maverick. No one knows my next move.
Don't now, because I'll ask you a random question at the end, like I do on
That's
our
absolutely
pods.
fine by me.
Ah,
So
let me.
I'll go who I think is. I think it's going to be Stephen Thomas will start as loose head.
Okay, let me just grab my. I'm gonna grab my list up, and I am well aware. I'm not a rugby nose. I don't know how to do this. I picked a Disney 15. Don't pick on me. Right, let's have a little lucky Lulu. Right, you go, and I'll tell you whether I agree with you or not.
Okay, so I think Stephen Thomas will start a loose head.
Okay, agreed.
I think we'll see Sam Perry.
Parry.
Yeah. I think we'll see Tommy Boter.
Yeah. Can I say about Sam Parry, I'm really proud of what he did with the Welsh squad.
Yeah, I think Sam's a fantastic guy.
Such a nice fella, and his kids are really cute. Well, his baby's really cute.
He's very well thought of at the club. I think 4 we will see James Fender.
Nice, I like that.
5, I think we'll see James Ratty.
Nice lad. Recognise me from the pod. I'll go with that.
Yeah, stay tuned for James Ratty.
I know all his family. Well, I don't know all his family, but my family know all his family because they're all police, and
Okay,
my lot are all police.
interesting.
Nice lad, very nice lad, and his father and his uncle are hard as nails.
He's hard as nails.
He is hard as nails, but he comes from hard as nails stock.
I think we'll
But
see Will Greatbanks at 6.
mhm,
I think we'll see Harry Deves at 7.
I like Deves.
I like
Is he fully rehab now?
no. Oh, actually, that's a shout. He's injured, isn't he? So
He
I
was
think
hoping to be back, wasn't he?
yeah. I've not seen him in training pictures.
Saw him in the nest about 4 or 5 weeks
That
ago,
might have to be
or maybe.
a text to my source to say, is he available?
Do you know what I like about him? I like the green puffer training jackets they've got.
Yeah.
And I was asking him about them, and he said, "Oh, try my coat on, love, if you want to." There's no way that coat was going anywhere near me, but I was really flattered by the fact that he thought I could try it on and it would fit me.
I love rugby players who sound like me or sound like
He's a mush.
he's a proper musher. He's
I
a
love
proper
it.
bridge. Him, Luke Davis, like that. When they released his contract video, when they released that contract video with them doing Twin
The
Town,
Twin Town. Oh my God.
honestly, it was perfect. And he
I'm
is.
in that film on the Kingsway.
Yeah,
I am.
that's yeah.
I'm the
There's
girl who looks through the club window in
there's a
Ritzy.
few. Yeah. I don't not believe you for a second, but the I'm in Twin Town is like I was at when Cleckley beat the All Blacks.
Um,
That's the Swansea version, I think.
we couldn't get in the club when they were doing the
Because
karaoke.
what is it? Was it Barons?
It was
It was
Barons.
Barons, wasn't it?
Oh my God. But you could not
Ag-
get in Barons that night.
Again,
But we were all out on the Kingsway and they were just driving around with cameras.
uh, where was Barons? Is it the one off Wine Street?
Know
Oh no,
where
Kingsway, wasn't
right,
it?
know where Argos is on the corner on
Yeah.
High Street. So know where you've got the Oriel Science Building?
Oh yeah, yes, of course.
It's there. Did you
Yeah.
ever go to the top floor of Barons and see like
I
the
am not
velvet?
I am not old enough for Barons.
Oh, do you know what, right? You had when I was a student, Wednesday night was obviously same student
Yeah,
night.
it still is.
You had the beer cellar below, then you
Yeah.
had normal Barons, then you had the disco floor with a light up dance floor, but up the top you had velvet banquettes, velvet drapes, and they'd actually got someone in to paint the ceiling with very much like Michelangelo cherubs and stuff on the ceiling. So if you looked up when you were on the top floor, it looked like you were in the Vatican. It's amazing.
Fantastic. So, in the absence of Deeves, I'm going to put Tipperick down as a thing, but then 8 will be Morgan Morris. I can tell you that for a fact.
Absolutely.
9, I think it will be Hardy. Right, he spelled Kieran the proper way.
Yeah. How's Dan's injury coming on? Is he still in the boot?
Dan Edwards,
Yeah.
he was never in a boot. He had concussion.
I thought I saw him in a boot when I was up in Bridgend.
Um,
Or am I throwing a curveball at
I
you
think
now?
you're throwing a curveball. He's in the training pictures.
Is he?
He had concussion, so
Saw him
he was
having a
invited to
go.
go up and train with the Welsh team,
Yeah.
but he couldn't because he had concussion. Um, so I think he's fine, but I think we'll see Owen Williams.
He didn't do too bad.
No, but I
And
think that could easily change to Jack Walsh or Dan Edwards, and I'd be fine. 11, I think we'll see Dan Cassende. Bloemfontein Bonamine man. I can't wait for the Scarlets game. I really hope he just fights people again.
you know what, right? That's what I loved about it last year. You had that proper niggle.
He squared up to people like he was raised on Wine Street, that man.
I love it. And do you know what? I love it when players come in and they know the sense of that occasion and the sense of that niggle.
Yeah.
That's heart, that is. That's
He is
passion.
also the nicest man. I don't mean this like when the South African lot came over, so it was him, Marnus, and Rivan Krier. I tell you now, Dan Cassende, I've got a selfie with him somewhere, is the nicest man in the world. And speaking to Bethan, who is head of marketing at the club,
Yeah.
up for anything, so he will do
You took him
anything.
around giving the shirts out,
Yeah,
didn't
I,
you?
I was watching her do it. It was quite funny.
Rod was quite in awe because Rod had a shirt and he was like,
Yeah.
I was going to ask him for a selfie, but I didn't know what to do. And the game was still going on. I was like, Rod, you shouldn't have given the shit, mate. You should have just taken the selfie.
Um, 12, I think it'll be Keith from Gleneath.
His mum and dad are lush.
He is, I'm pretty sure his old man used to referee our games. He was a knob.
He recognised me in Rossi's a couple of weeks ago when I was having chips and wanted a selfie with me. I was like, absolutely.
Then 13 is going to be, I reckon it's going to be Owen Watkin. He's only played what, 20 minutes.
Yeah. There's no reason for him not to.
I think 14, then you'll see Lukey Moggs. Handsome man.
It's another one of your man crushes.
I just think he's a handsome bloke. I remember him coming on the Sevens scene, and we were talking about his debut the other day, actually. And he's just a handsome bloke, isn't he? But he looks like a Valley's boy. I mean, in the nicest way possible, he looks like a Valley's boy. And then 15, I think we'll see Jackie Walsh. Another stupidly handsome man.
I love the fact that you lads embrace your men crushes.
Oh, absolutely.
Bit like me and my love for Tay Tay and Kylie.
On the bench, then I think we'll see Lewis Lloyd, whose dad likes all our tweets on Twitter. So shout out Lee Lloyd, and his Trioki.
Naughty
We're, we're
bastard.
we're followed by a lot of players' parents. It's quite funny. Me and Robbie had a really nice interaction online with James Fender's mum after the Scarlets game last year.
I let you into a secret. He likes Lego because I like Lego. And we were talking about Lego, and then I realised A, how old I am, and B, how young he is. I'm
he
actually the age of some of their mums now, which is
he
quite
walked
interesting.
past us at the Bulls game. I don't know if you saw. He is
Yeah.
huge, that boy. And his brothers are just the same as well.
And his brother's the spit of him.
Oh, yeah.
Second take, it was like, wow. Your brother's suspected of you.
Um, yeah. So then props, Garin will be another one. Uh, Ben Warren, another lovely man. 19, I think we'll see Lewis Jones, Darwin's boy.
Hmm.
20, I can see that being Will Griff. I think he will travel. I think it's a perfect time to bring him in off the bench.
Yeah, why not?
I'm not sure. Someone said to me that Ruben's injured. So I'm going to put down Ruben, but I'm also going to put down Luke
I
Davis.
didn't think he was, but
Someone said to me that he's injured.
yeah, and I've not seen him. I'm going to sound stalky now. I've not seen anything of him online where he appears to be injured, if that makes
But
sense.
I've also not seen anything online where he smiles.
That's not
Um,
a bad thing. I've got
he's
a bit of a resting bitch face. It's okay.
um, I think then we'll see. So I think we'll see Dan Edwards then covering there, and then you can go between. I think you'll go between someone like Yestin or the birthday boy Harry Houston.
Yeah.
I think I that's me being um that's me. I think that's me being a bit optimistic in terms of some. There's some you can argue won't travel. Like Justin Tipper, I can't see. I just can't see him traveling. Um,
Ah, does he need to know? Do we know
look,
when
I
they're
know the bloke.
announced? Do they
He
know when
cries
they're
when he leaves.
announcing it?
Yeah, he cries when he leaves Trabanos. Right, he's not going to go to Northern Italy.
I'd cry going to Trabanos.
Look, I'm from there. It's a through road. Um,
It's it's what my husband would call a Ned village.
yeah, oh,
John's very
100%.
Scottish, and he's like, he's a proper Ned, and I'm like, he is a proper Ned. But you know,
It's So yeah, it's a tough one. I think, but I do think the
interesting
selection will
that
be stronger than people think.
they didn't
Oh,
have that
I've
many.
completely missed someone out. It's not going to be Luke Morgan. It's going to be Keelan bloody Giles.
Keelan Giles, I
But he
like
got
him as a
injured.
player.
It is not. Yeah, no. I think Keelan will go. I think Keelan and Kasende is our wing partnership going forward, and I think you can rotate Combier then when he comes back in.
Do you know what? Like with Combier, I was really impressed with him
Yeah.
because again, I think it was a purely financial decision with the Scarlets, nothing to do with his talent
No,
or anything
absolutely.
else. And he knows how to find a try line. And what I did like, again, he showed that niggle,
Mm.
those first few games. I really did like. So I hope it's nothing major for him and he rehabs quickly because he's what, 25, 26.
Same age
So
as Smoke Morris. Yeah.
he's not old by any
No, God
stretch
no.
of the imagination. Um, I really do like. I love watching Keelan play.
I
Um,
love Keelan. I played against him growing up when he was at One
you
Arloy.
know, lovely, lovely, lovely player.
Ooh, wait a minute.
Little bit of magic about him.
How many caps is Keelan on?
I do not know.
We
Ben,
worked this out because there's a few players who can reach 100 this year. So obviously Morgan Morris already has.
let's
He's
have
on. He's on 99.
99. So that would be a nice little run out for him.
So that will be 100.
And I think the danger with Zebra is they didn't have that many people called up, did they, to the Italy squad?
Yeah, so Zebra, you might look at, let's have a look at the Zebra Parma squad. So let's having a look at sort of who they've got in terms of, so they have got some, you know, some
And did you
talent.
hear the rumour the same as us that they were the Italian Rugby Union were potentially selling them off?
Well, yeah, they're apparently up for sale, which is interesting. So obviously they've got Lorenzo Pani, Simon Gessi, Marisi, who's very good. You've got players who can really punish it. Of course, they've got former Ospreys academy player Ben Cambriani, scored a cracking try against the Scarlets. Former Osprey Guido Volpi still on the books down there. Loved Guido, lovely man. Luca Bigi, Rizzoli, Nokera. So they've got players that can, seriously hurt us. I just hope they don't. But Zebra at home is a bloody different problem. It's not a given, as Munster found out.
I
They
don't think
they
it's
can play you off the park.
I'm just looking at them now. They're doing a really nice thing on Saturday. They're
Yeah.
devoting the entire day to the topic of the fight against male violence against women. And above all, we will talk about female empowerment in sport and beyond.
Do you know what? That is fair
That's
play to Zebre
nice.
Parma.
As a feminist, I like that. I approve.
And yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. To be fair to them, they are good lads. I've just given that a like. Well done, Zebra.
I've liked that. I got a bit of a girl rugby crush.
Yeah.
I'm loving Alona Mayer, the
Oh,
American Sevens player.
gutted she didn't win.
Her dance was awesome.
Yeah, she's fantastic. Alona Maher, she is unreal.
Her on TikTok is banging. I love her. Her with the Kelsey brothers
Yeah.
is just superb.
What I will say is working for Quins, obviously I get to see the women's team a lot as well.
Yeah,
I have an unhealthy obsession with the Welsh girls because I think they're all fantastic and obviously absolutely been bastarded by the union. But like watching Alex Callender play for the first time, she reminds me a lot of Martin Williams.
yeah.
She just flies into everything. Doesn't matter who she's flying into, she'll fly into you.
Fearless.
She's brilliant. So yeah, fair play to Zebre Parma. What do you think the score's going to be? Do you think it's
I
a
think it's
win?
going to be. I think it'll be a win.
Yeah,
I think it will be tight, and I would think it will be Ospreys by 5.
that I think that's what I went for. I think I went for Ospreys by 6 on the. I think we Zebra tend to leak a lot of penalties. I think we can exploit that. I think ultimately the Edinburgh game took a bit of pressure off, but it's still a must-win game for us. Is a really good chance to pick up some points
Yeah,
and some momentum going into Europe. We're in a much healthier position injury-wise than we were going into block one.
yeah,
So yeah, I think there's a real chance. Obviously, we'll know more tomorrow with the press conference.
yeah. And I think if we hit this block hard, then there is looking at the fixtures that we've got. Then there are some games there that we very much can. Please
We do
God,
love a
solid
purple
and
patch over Christmas, though, don't we?
yeah, yeah.
Beat the Scarlets, beat Cardiff.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to the game on the 21st. Shame it's not Boxing Day, but
I'm so gutted, right? I'm at a wedding at the cathedral, so it's literally within spitting distance of it.
yeah,
Because obviously originally it was meant for Boxing Day, so I was like, yeah, I can go to this wedding. It gets
yeah.
moved to the one day I can't do.
It's I was telling the lads it's my wedding anniversary on Sunday, and I got married in 2012. The only year that the autumn internationals were shifted, so Wales were playing Australia on the day that I got married, and I had to change the time I was getting married and pay for tellies to be put up in the golf club.
I
Um,
I
Only
remember
year ever.
2013 was the day of the first Lions test on my brother's first Holy Communion, my youngest brother. Me and my grandfather tactfully sat at the back of the church, got in the car, went sped down to the Gwachel in Pontardawe, and managed literally walked in the door, caught Cuthbert scoring that try in the first test with the Lions.
Yeah.
The things we do for rugby, eh?
Oh, I know we shift everything around, but I do think we can hit
Yes, I
this block
agree,
and
100%.
farm some points from it. Really
No,
do.
absolutely. Right, I think that's going to be it tonight. Nice short, sharp one. First, we've got some announcements. So next week we are bringing you another interview. I'm just waiting for a bit to be finalised, but we are bringing you another player interview. If it's the one we're getting, you're in for a cracker. Once it's finalised, I'll drop the hints on the old Twitter. You can also, and coming up is something very, very fun. When we get the details of it, we're running a competition.
Woohoo!
We can't read details yet, but we've partnered with the club for a competition. So keep an eye out for that, especially around if you're not planning on going to the Ospreys Scarlets game. You could be. But we'll reveal all in due course. You can find me at Ospreys Irie Pod on X. Probably not as active as I used to be on the old Twitter, because that app is a cesspit. But you can find me on there. Sam, how do we find you and the rest of the lads on the pod?
I am on Twitter. You're right. It is a cesspit. And oh God, I do love, and I'm saying this with the greatest sarcasm in the world, I love the shit I get off Safa fans. I really do.
You do get a lot of shit off Safa fans, I will say that.
I think it's because I'm a girl. The thing that gets me is they always call me a knob. And I'm like, I don't have one. I haven't got one. I sit down to pee. I am on Twitter, and I'm on there as Sam BF Pod.
Yep.
I'm also on Blue Sky, same username on Blue Sky. Blue Sky's nice. It's a nice platform, but to be honest, my favourite social media is Instagram. And that is where you will find all my TikToks and my various bits and bobs. And I'm on there as Sam Blackfeather Pod. The guys, we've got a Blackfeather Pod on Instagram, so it's at the Blackfeather Pod.
Yep.
We're also on Twitter as well. Rod tends to run that, and
too much time in his hands, that boy.
Do you know what? Yeah, he's he loves a little social media thing. And on Twitter we are BLCK, so black, and then the word feather and pod.
Brilliant. And you guys do, I think a lot of people saw us as rivals to begin with.
Absolutely not.
And we welcome you guys. It's a broad church. We get on as fans. We get on as mates as well.
Oh, listen, I'm old. I'm too old for Zebre Parma.
There's no politics here.
There's none at all. And for me, yeah, we're both podcasts, but we are very different.
Absolutely.
Do you know what? I blame me. I'm very random. I did a crossover with URC Chumps last week, and I don't think they knew what hit them. Bless them. But do you know what? When Rod messaged and said, "Look, can you do a favour?" I was like, "Absolutely, yeah, of course." Because the more crossovers that we do, then that's good for everybody. There's food for everybody at the table. We're all rugby fans. We all like different things.
Oh, absolutely.
And, I just love coming on and chatting with a fellow rugby fan. That's what this is. It's like
that's why we do it.
Having a beer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. So that'll be us for tonight. Come join us next week. Go listen to the Blackfeather. Doing great. You do that thing where you have the video on Spotify.
We do.
So every time I open Spotify to listen, it fucking freaks me out. Because it just pops up straight away, and I'm like,
But I would like to bring a bit of my podcast to you.
Oh God, go on then.
So I always do a random question at the end, and I always kind of put the lads on a bit of a back foot. So we were talking Christmas films last night.
Yeah.
So first question: Die Hard Christmas movie or not?
Absolutely.
Christmas film, Happy Days. We were all then talking about what our favourite Christmas film is. What's your favourite Christmas film?
The Santa Claus, Tim Allen.
Okie dokie, that's easy.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I forgot all about this last night, and I said, "Oh, I love Elf. I love
Elf is awful.
It's a Wonderful Life. I love Elf." He did. Do you know what I really love? Nativity.
Yeah, Nativity's up there. We watched Nativity, me and myself and my
I
partner. That's a
Nativity.
that's a ritual for us. But I love all the Santa Claus with Tim Allen's. They're the ones I grew up probably
I do
watching.
like them.
The one with Martin Short, the third one's very good.
Yeah, Jack Frost.
I have come around to Love Actually. Didn't like it at first. Like it now.
My husband will not let me have Love Actually. He's not there. But
Mm,
I don't know how, like, he's like, I can't. Alan Rickman's just no, no. But I'm like, then you've got Mr. Bean who's packing all this stuff,
yeah.
and you've got Hugh Grant, who's the greatest Prime Minister we've never had.
Um, what else do I like? Yeah, Nativities. I like the one with David Tennant as well, Nativity in the second.
Nativity too, dude, where's my
Yeah.
donkey?
Even though Joanna Page is in it, she does my head in.
I don't mind her.
No, she does my head in. She's the worst
Um,
part of Gavin and Stacey.
I
Gavin
can't
and Stacey
watch.
Christmas specials is not a film, but they're up there. They're always on as well.
Do you know what? Literally, funnily enough, I'll have to send you the TikTok that I found the other day because there's a guy who's done a Gavin and Stacey, or he's done like a quiz, but all the answers are Gavin and
Oh,
Stacey.
I've seen that. That's very
The one
good.
with
It's
Oxygen.
fantastic. Yeah,
Oh,
good like
they're
mastermind
just
type thing in it.
yeah, that
Yeah,
has just tickled me. And have you seen the girl who does the Nessa impression and she's
yeah.
done it as though she's
She's done
Harry
it as well.
Potter?
Yeah.
Love that. Um,
Um, I tell you what I do like watching at Christmas as well is the first Harry Potter film because it's got
oh,
some cracking
another
Christmas
Harry
stuff in it.
Potter.
So,
Um,
are you going to ask me my favorite Christmas song as well? Because I feel like that's coming.
it is coming,
Okay.
and there's only one right answer to this.
See, I've got two and it's very left field.
Okay, that's fine, but what are they?
So you got One More Sleep by Leona Lewis. That's,
Okay, yeah,
it's been on repeat for the last 2 days. And
okay.
then Hark Now Hear the Angels Sing by Boney M. See, I grew up in
I
Catholic
got that
church.
on picture disc.
I grew up in the Catholic church, right? So we sing that at Christmas. Obviously, the hymn
Yeah,
version. So when I heard the Boney M version, it blew my little mind.
the blue red.
Yeah,
I love
I was
that.
like, yeah,
For me, it is there is only one,
you,
and it's
Mariah.
been absolutely not. No,
Is it the boobs? Is it Buble?
no,
No, okay.
no. Bear in
Slade?
mind my age.
Slade?
No,
No, I
and
don't know.
It's the greatest song of all time. Never mind Christmas.
What, Driving Home with Christmas, Chris Rea?
Wham! Last Christmas.
Oh, of course, yeah. You can't beat a George. You can't beat George
I
and
was 7 in 1985 when that and Band-Aid come out.
I think I have
Um,
that on vinyl, actually,
I've got it
inherited
on
from my mother's.
several different versions of
Yeah.
vinyl. It's my ringtone at this point in time. Um, I cried Christmas Day when George died.
Mm.
I proper cried.
No, Last
I
Christmas. I
love
haven't. I'm doing Wham Challenge, though, so I haven't listened to it yet.
Whamageddon. Yeah,
And I
you
haven't
feel
listened
that in
to it
my
yet.
house quite badly.
I haven't
Um,
listened to it yet.
and second, and I had it sung at my wedding, is Oh Holy Night. I love Oh Holy Night. It
Yeah,
makes me cry.
again, grew up in the church, know it very
Yeah.
well.
So that's kind of my thing. But if you ever need a little Sam Rando for your guests, just let me know.
Hey, look, absolutely. I think we all need a bit more Sam Rando in our life.
Could werewolf
I
vampire
think
last
what I'll
week?
need to do is every time I interview a player, I'll get you to send in a question. I'll really throw them
Absolutely.
off.
Can you
They'll love that.
imagine? They'll be like,
I mean,
oh,
I won't get any more guests back because they'll be too scared, but
yeah, but hey ho.
yeah. Right,
Happy
I think we're
days
going to end it
for
there.
having me on. I've loved it.
Thank you so much. You've got us out of a tight spot, and like I said, go
Anytime.
listen to the guys. If you see them at games, give them a wave. They're a friendly bunch. We will see you. We will see you next week. Have a good one.
That was the Ospreys Diary. Please rate, review and share on socials if you can, and join us next week for more of the same. And until then, enjoy your rugby.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.